Hello and welcome to Forex New York Session live stream. And all right, first of all, we will look at what we were anticipating in London session. In London session, we were anticipating that in GBP JPY we can keep pushing down. We even executed a trade, but that execution was little bit faulty. And later on, we were given an amazing opportunity to execute a short position in GBP JPY to potentially secure 40-50 pips from this trade. And yeah, but that trade appeared out of our session. So we didn't execute it on this trade. However, in future, however, we are just waiting. We may be able to get some beautiful trade today, but we are just waiting. And in gold, we were anticipating buys above 1719 area. We have broken above 1722 strong area, so there is a probability that we can keep pushing up, but we need more confirmations. We are 45 minutes away from New York session open, so we are just waiting. We may be able to find some excellent trades, but we are just waiting. All right. This H4 candle is about to close in 1 hour and 45 minutes, and we are waiting to see how current candles will close, and then maybe we can execute a trade, but at this point we are just waiting. And in GBP JPY, I was basically anticipating this move, but we were not given any chance to execute on this trade. But later on, we may find some trades, so we are just waiting. Just waiting at this point. Today is the last day of the week, and also today is Friday. We will go very slow. We made some decent gains this week. If we look at our account history from start of week, we made around 3.6% on our account just by risking 1% on each trade. And today we will go pretty much slow. We secured 10-11 pips in the morning. We executed short position in GBP JPY, but better shots appeared later on when we were away from live streams. So this is the way things are, and we are basically waiting for some execution, and we may find some trades later in New York session or at NYSE Open. But for now, we are just waiting. We have broken outside of this consolidation zone, and now there is a probability that we can continue pushing up if we break above 1725 area, but I am looking for better execution at this point. In GJ we have nothing at this point. Basically our trade idea has played out, and now we are waiting for some sort of consolidation because market has dropped like 60 pips, 70 pips at this point. We are waiting for some consolidation, and later on maybe we can find some trade, but at this point there is nothing. New York session will open in 40 minutes, and then maybe we can find a trade, and Comet Comex will open for open about 1 hour from now, and we are just waiting. We are just waiting. Volume is very low at this point, and yes, this week we have a pretty good week. We have no losing trade this entire week, and I will be basically changing my broker starting from next week. So the reason I am changing my broker is because we have huge spreads and huge slippages on this broker. That's why I will change my broker, and Yeah, that's it. We have broken outside of the range above 1721 area in gold. We are looking to see if we can execute a potential buys in gold, but it will be very risky because at this point our patterns in gold are uh, there are no patterns in gold at this point. That's why it is very risky. Today we will wait patiently and we will watch markets play out their hand. All right, we are just waiting in gold and waiting in GBP/JPY. The 4-hour candle is about to close in 1 hour and 30 minutes. And on next 4-hour candle, maybe we can keep pushing up, but we need more confirmations. And yeah, we are just waiting. We are creating a tiny resistance in M15 time frame, and this is very small resistance as compared to a big zone at 1721 area. But we are just waiting, and maybe we can find some trades later on. In GBP JPY, there is probability we can keep pushing down. In London session, I basically anticipated that there is some sort of volume present in GBP JPY, and in this 60 pips we have four resistances, and I basically anticipated that with such sort of volume present in markets we will break through these support levels, which basically have played out exactly as I have anticipated. So at this point we need to wait. We are looking to see what is below 166.800, 163.800. Below that area we have another support at 163.600, almost 14 pips away, and below that support we have another support almost 38 pips away at 163.200, and we have a little bit of rejection area at 163.500 also. So it is a pretty dirty range, I will say. We can reject from anywhere in this area. We don't know exactly from where we will reject, So we are just waiting, and we are waiting for better confirmations and better execution. And in gold, there is probability we can keep pushing up if we break above 1725 area, above this wick, and candles are about to close in 3 minutes. We are just waiting at this point. We are waiting for candles to close. And alright, I will show you my account history, because starting from Monday I may change my broker. From Monday I will change my broker, so there will be no account history. So let me show you my account history. All right, we made 3.6% of account in current week, starting from 18th of July to 22nd of July, and from 11 to 15th of July we basically were in a break even. We didn't lost, we didn't win, and we ended the week in 0.80 US dollar loss, and we took 5 trades. 3 were losers and 2 were winners. If we go back to look at first week, if we look at in first week, I basically took just 3 trades. One was loss and one was winner, made around 5 US dollar profits. And if I look at my overall monthly history till 22nd of July, we are up about 55 US dollar, around 5.5% on my account. So it is pretty decent gains. And starting from Monday, I may change my broker. Alright, M30 candles have now closed. M30 candle has closed above our tiny resistance, but the whole problem is this: the previous M30 candle don't have an upper wick. So although prices are moving up, but in this sort of situation, it is just a best practice to stay away from markets, because we can just do a whipsaw. We basically want accurate entry. Even one execution a day is enough for me, but I want excellent execution, and I want perfect patterns to trade on. If we go to our blog, and if we go to our blog, I will recommend you. Basically, this is where I do my digital journaling, and I will recommend you guys to go over pattern 1 variation, pattern 1 W bottom, pattern 2, pattern 3 continuation pattern, and breakout patterns. Basically we have 7 patterns, and I usually trade these patterns only, and I have made all the profit just by trading these patterns. If you go to the description of those patterns, you will find a video link where I have described those patterns, so you can go and watch those patterns. For now, we are just waiting. We are just waiting basically. In GBP JPY we are dropping, and there is nothing so far in GBP JPY. In my opinion, the move has already passed out. So at this point, executing a sell or buy in GBP JPY is very risky. It's like catching a falling knife. You probably will hurt yourself if you try to do that. Plus today is Friday, I will probably go very slow on Friday, but I am looking to see if we can find some pretty good trade today. If not, I am totally okay with that. We are just waiting. Although we are moving up in gold, we have clean range to the left side, but the whole problem is New York session is about to open in 25 more minutes, which is not a good sign I, because what I have seen from my experience from past, whenever we move before session, and we sometimes go in that direction, but most of times we basically do a fake out and we just go the opposite side. So I am way more conservative with these buys. I am not basically executing, I will execute on something that I recognize from past. For now, we are just waiting. We may get some good trades. Forex is basically a game of patience. The more you wait, the more disciplined you are, the more there is chances that the more successful you will be. So that was the whole purpose why I started live streaming, and I basically pledged to myself that I will only execute with discipline, focus, and patience, and the result speaks for themselves, because I have almost two break-even weeks before I eventually find a week where I made around 3.6% of my account. So yeah, I actually didn't change anything. I didn't learn anything new about technical analysis, or I didn't find some holy grail. The only thing I did was I actually waited for my patterns. Sometime I stay like 5 to 6 hours in front of screen to only execute one trade, and that one trade was winner. This is how I have executed all these trades. If for example I look at my weekly history, I basically took 8 trades in 5 trading days. I am allowed to take 2 trades per day, so I am allowed to take maximum 10 trades a week. But I only took around 8 trades. But if we look at it closely, we have small lot trade here, we have small lot trades here. And if we look at timings, I only took one trade on Monday. On Tuesday, I took one trade at 9:13 our server time, and an other trade later after almost 2 hours after my first trade. And on Wednesday, I basically took two trades, and second trade was taken almost 1 hours after, almost 30 minutes after the first trade. And yesterday I took two trades. That was excellent buy trade in gold. We executed right in here. And if you haven't watched this trade that we executed on live stream yesterday, say I will recommend you can go and watch that trade, because it was very difficult trade for me to capture, but I still made profits on this trade because I just followed my trading plan. I didn't swayed away from my trading plan. And in the morning we basically took one trade in GBP JPY shorts. That trade was taken right in here. Basically I was waiting for this candle to wake up first and then starts breaking below the low, but it started breaking the low without any retracement. So I executed. I went with very small lot, which is usually 1/5 of my usual risk, because it was not exactly what I was looking for. That's my whole reason to go with very small lot. It played out perfectly. We secured profits, and yes, I will still execute a trade, but I will not risk more than 1% of my profits that I have made uh, in this week. But there are some conditions that market needs to follow in order for me to execute. I will not execute some random trades. I will only execute trades as per my trading plan, and I have completely explained my trading plan in my early live streams, or you can view my trading plan in the description below. I basically want everyone watching, or everyone that is my friend or my family or everyone that wanted to learn. I want each of them to succeed in trading forex, because I know from my past experience it is very hard, because it is sort of a lonely journey, and it is basically very hard. It took me almost 5 to 6 years to basically break the threshold of consistency, but this is the way things are. I hope best of luck to all of you guys in your trading journey. 15-minute candle is about to close, and in 15 minutes New York session will open. Whenever session opens, we usually witness some sort of volume in the markets, and we may find something at that point, but for now there is nothing that we can execute on, so we are just waiting. We are waiting in GBP/JPY and we are waiting in gold. Maybe we can find some trades or maybe not. It all depends. M15 candle has closed strong bullish candle. There is probability for prices to keep pushing up. If we look left, the most recent resistance in M15, we have already approached most recent resistance in M15 at 1728 area. Above that zone we have another resistance at 1733, almost 50 pips away, and above that area we have another resistance at 1736, 30 pips away, and then we have a very strong resistance at 1739. Basically these red line resistances are weak resistances, but we can reject from here. There is nothing so there is nothing so much sure that we will break through these small resistances and push all the way up till 1738. So we are just waiting. We don't know from where market will reject. We have marked our zones and we are just waiting. In 12 minutes, New York session will open. So maybe we can find some trades in 11 minutes, but for now there is nothing. Waiting in GBP JPY, waiting in gold. Nothing as per our plan today. Alright, we will redo our analysis in GBP JPY. What I usually do, I will go to monthly time frame, and what I can see from monthly time frame is that we are creating a resistance at 163.500 area, and the current monthly candle has wicked down first. There was no wick at the top, so there was a probability that the current monthly candle will reject somewhere from here and create an upper wick, which basically happens on Monday on 18th of July. So I was basically waiting for this up move the entire month before 21st of before 20, 18th of July. And if we look at weekly time frame, we have basically a support at 163.500 area. And so so basically the current weekly candle has wicked all the way up, and today is Friday and now it is moving down. There is probability we will close bearish, and on the next weekly candle we can keep pushing down. If we look at daily, the previous daily candle closed bearish, and the current daily candle has also moved bearish. It was our anticipation. If you go back and look at my London session live stream, I also executed a sell trade in GBP JPY today, made profits. And if we look at H4 candle is about to close in 1 hour and 7 minutes. The previous H4 candle closed below the bodies of all previous 4 H4 candles, so there was probability for current H4 candle to keep pushing down, which it eventually did, and our pattern do appear, but we were off of live stream, we didn't execute it on this trade. And if we look at H1, we are continuing our push down, and we have rejection areas. Currently price is at rejection area of 163.600, and we have another rejection area at 163.300 area. So at this point we don't know from where we will reject, but our whole anticipation for today was bearish GBP JPY. We even executed on this trade. However, better pattern, better trade was once this 15-minute candle closed, we should have executed sells right away by placing our stops around 20 pips, and we could have secure at least 40 pips from this trade. So this was our whole bias for GBP JPY, and there was probability that we can keep pushing down, and we moved down, and at this point the move is already over. So executing a trade at this point, either buys or sells, both are very risky. Sells are risky because we have moved a lot already to the downside, almost 130 pips. And buys are also risky because we don't have any bullish candles closing recently. So that's why it is in our best interest to just wait. And if we look at gold, we are pushing up. We have almost pushed 50 pips up, but we are just waiting. At this point I was waiting for better execution, but that basically didn't appear, so I missed this trade, and I am totally okay with that. Basically I have followed gold and GBP JPY for a very long time. If I go and show you my backtesting history, so this is the performance of each individual week, and I have basically tested almost 372 weeks in GBP JPY and in gold. So I am basically very confident in trading GBP, JPY and gold, and other than these two pairs I have little to no experience, so I basically can't guide where those pairs or how those pairs move and where they can potentially go. We are waiting for candles to close in about 3 more minutes. In 3 minutes, New York session will also open, and maybe we will redo our analysis at that point. Waiting for sessions to open. We have previous 4 candles in gold that are closing strong bullish, and we are just waiting. Alright, the hourly candles have closed, and New York session has also opened. So let's look at where prices can move. In gold, basically we I basically anticipated buys above 1719 area. Way early on we have already moved like 80-90 pips from, but we weren't given any like sort of confident or accurate chance to execute a position. And at 1724 area we created a tiny resistance. We broke above that resistance, and H1 candles are closing strong bullish. There is probability that we will keep pushing up. And if we look at H4 candle is very strong momentum candle, but it is about to close in 59 minutes. So the next H4 candle may wick low first and then continue pushing up. But at this point, it is way too early to say where prices can go. For now, all we can see and anticipate is that prices are bullish and we have missed the move. We can't execute basically buys at this point because we have already moved like 90 pips. Although we can move up more, but it is very risky to execute a buy position at this area, and we also can't execute shorts at this point because candles are bullish. We want at least few candles to close bearish and break below 1722 area for us to potentially execute short position. Other than that, we will just stay away from any trades in gold. And in GBP JPY, same thing is happening. We have moved a lot to the downside. So at this point, the buys and sells both are risky. So we are just waiting for more confirmations, both in gold and in GBP JPY. Yeah, you see candles are basically moving down. We are moving down in first 4 minutes. It may means that we are basically creating a lower wick for prices to potentially keep pushing up later on, and it may also mean that we will close bearish and we may continue pushing down. So at this point there is no bias in gold and no bias in GBP JPY. We are just open to anything that market will provide us and we will act accordingly. Waiting in GJ, waiting in gold, waiting for 15-minute candle to close in about 10 minutes. We are just waiting. We need to wait for 8 more minutes for current 15-minute candle to close. And on next 15-minute candle we have Comet exchange for gold will open, and we will see some sort of volume in gold, and maybe we can anticipate some trade at that point, but for now there is nothing at this point and we are just waiting. We are about to close in 6 more minutes and then maybe we can find some trade. We are just waiting at this point. Alright, we are just waiting for candles to close and then maybe we can find some trades, but at this point we are just waiting. In 1 minute, M15 candles will close, and in 6 minutes, Comet Comics market will open, which is futures volume for gold, and it usually gives volume into market. So we are just waiting for that to open. Alright, we are just waiting. Comet Comics is about to open in few minutes. And then maybe we can find some trade. We are moving down in gold, which is a good sign, I will say, because now if we break below 1722 area, there is probability we can keep pushing down and I may execute a position, but we need to wait. Patience is required at this point. We need to wait. We need to patiently wait for our entries. There is probability we will find some trade. Alright, GBP JPY 15-minute candle has closed strong bullish, and basically I am also anticipating. Now if we starts to break above this area, I may execute a buy position, but it needs to fulfill my conditions. Only then I will execute a position. We are just waiting. Comet Comex is now open in gold. We usually see a high volume on this candle. Let's see how current candle will move. We are moving down, which is a good thing for our shorts below 1722 area, but we need to wait at this point. We are just waiting. We may execute a position, but we are just waiting to see how these M15 candles will close in gold and in GBP JPY, and then maybe we can execute a position on next 15-minute candle, but we are just waiting at this point. We are waiting for 6 more minutes. Yeah, we have broken below 1725 zone, which means we are in pretty good position for shorts, but we need to wait for candles to close. You see on Comet Comex candle we have around 30 pips of move. I have noticed that we usually moves around 20 to 30 pips on Comet Comex volume candle. We are just waiting. There is probability we will get some good trades. Later on, M30 candle in gold has broken below the low of previous M30 candle, and let's see where prices can go. Yeah, man, this thing, I was waiting for this thing. Now there is probability I will get some trade on next M15 candle. We are just waiting at this point. We are just waiting. M15 and M30 candle has now closed. M30 candle has closed a strong bearish candle, and I am expecting for from current 15-minute candle to wake up first and then starts to break below the low, and I will execute a sell position. I will lower my lot size. I will execute with very small lot size, but it needs to wake up first, almost 10-11 pips, and then only then I will execute a short position. In GBP JPY we have closed the first bullish M30 candle after a long time, and we may get to execute a buy position later on, but at this point there is nothing. We need to wait. These are premature buys, so we are waiting for them to mature and then maybe we can execute on them, but for now there is nothing. Waiting in gold, I have placed my sell stops. I will execute a short position. If now we starts to break below the lows, I will place my stops around 24 pips, and yeah, I'm ready. We are moving up. It is probably a higher wick formation in M30, and I have placed my sell stops below this candle low. If this candle flips bearish, I will execute short position. My stop loss will be around 20 pips, and if my stop loss gets hit, I will be losing around 20 pips. So in GBP JPY we have broken below the low in first 4 minutes. I am looking to see how current 15-minute candle will close, and then maybe we can find some clue where prices can move, but at this point we are just waiting. Waiting for gold, waiting for GJ. Nothing in gold and GJ at this point. We are just waiting. We have placed our sell stops. If it gets activated, we will just place our stop loss and we will let it run. We are just waiting. We are waiting in gold and in GJ. If we look at H4, H4 candle is rejecting from 1730 area, and maybe it is a rejection for potential move up, but still I will execute my short position because I have seen this sort of setup enough times, so I am very confident on this setup. So yeah, I am just waiting. Yeah, M15 candle is about to flip bearish. We will place our stop, modify our stops. Yeah, Now 27 pips of stop. If we got stopped out, we will lose around 5 US dollar on this trade, and we will let it run. Simple. M15 candle is about to close in 3 minutes. We are just waiting. We are waiting for current M15 candle to close. We are just waiting at this point. Yeah, M15 candle has closed a slightly bullish candle. If the current M15 candle wakes up first and then starts to break below the lows, there is high probability we will keep pushing down, but it needs to have a higher wick first. In GBP/JPY there is nothing, and I will just turn off my live stream in few minutes. I am only looking at gold now. I want current 15-minute candle to have an upper wick first, and if it starts to break below the lows, then I will basically take that trade. But the whole problem in here is current 15-minute candle don't have an upper wick, but still I will take this trade because in M30 we have already created an upper wick. So let's see what will happen. So now we are basically creating an upper wick in even in M15 time frame. If we are to move down, then this upper wick was required. This entry basically is now invalidated because on previous this entry is invalid in M15 time frame at this point because we have a candle that has closed slightly bullish, but it is still valid in M30 time frame, and that's why I will hold this trade. This trade is based on pattern 1, and yeah, we are just waiting. We are about to activate our sell stop. Sell stops aren't active at this point. All right, we are just waiting at this point. I am looking at only one thing at this point. If this current M30 candle flips and closes bullish, then that will be good thing. Other than that, in gold there is probability if we don't activate our sell stop on current candle, then I will remove my sell stop. Let's suppose if my sell stops got activated and candle has moved around 15 pips against me, I would have basically closed some percentage of my position because I basically don't want prices to go in opposite direction when I execute a position. So yeah, we are just waiting.